What's up, everyone? This is Lane Caddy coming at you from Pop Leisure Show, and I'm going to jump right into it today. I'm really excited about the new release of Disclosure Day, a long-awaited sci-fi film by none other than Steven Spielberg himself. That's this weekend, opening July 12th. Oftentimes, Oak Center Cinema has early screenings the night before, so check oakcenter.net for your show times on this one if you want to be in the first in line to get it. And I do. I want to see this before I know anything more about it, because it looks like one of these, once every 10 years you get a sci-fi film that is this gripping and really brings people together, and it's coming out at just the right time of year, summertime, and we have some freedom from our studies to go out and check out a great film. So I'm going to play for you a 30-second trailer so that you can hear a little bit more directly from Universal Studios about this film. So here it is. A trailer for Disclosure Day, and then we'll chat some more.
Disclosure Day threatens letting the truth loose on the world.
What did you steal?
The data they paid me to protect.
There has been a threat to release government material long shrouded in secrecy.
Are they people?
No. Daniel has this amazing mathematical brain, and he's using it to understand them. Do you understand what she's saying?
It's gibberish. I can't understand it.
And I can't.
And Margaret is suddenly imbued with these abilities she's never had before. She can speak other languages fluently.
Since when do you speak Korean?
What? Speak Korean? What?
She can read people by looking in their eyes.
Who are those guys?
They're with the FBI.
They're not FBI.
I wanted to make sure that they were real people, based on reports about abduction and lost time.
I can see them. They're coming into the room. The only way for you to know your purpose is to go back to where it all began. It's the two of you. It's always been just the two of you.
What they know could change everything. Religion, governments, all the things that we've set up to create our culture and our world.
Whatever happens, don't you let go.
Daniel and Margaret are going to release the truth of the entire history of the UFO-UAP phenomenon.
Whoa.
And nothing will ever be the same from that moment forward.
3, 2, 1.
This is Disclosure Day.
There you have it, folks. Disclosure Day from Universal Studios, opening June 12th. And I am really thrilled about this one. It's a new original story. It says created and directed by Steven Spielberg. And I mean, everyone knows of the name Steven Spielberg, but it just, in case you don't know, I found this list of many of the films. This is probably not all of the films that he directed, but check it out. Here's the list of, he's the director of Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the Indiana Jones movies, E.T., Empire of the Sun, Hook, the Jurassic Park movies, Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, AI, Minority Report, War of the Worlds, Munich, War Horse, Lincoln, Bridge of Spies, the BFG, or Big Friendly Giant, Ready Player One, West Side Story, and The Fabelmans. I mean, Steven Spielberg, some of the hardest hitting films of our time are coming from Steven Spielberg, of course. And here we are, Disclosure Day opening this weekend, July 12th. And the story seems to center around maybe a brother and sister. There seems to be a male and a female lead that are not romantically entwined, and that each of them has this knowledge, this intuitive knowledge of what seems to be an alien species. And the guy is saying that his plan is full disclosure to the human race. And they're tying it back a little bit to sort of like the mysterious area, what is it? Area 80? Help me out here. I don't remember the name of it. The cover up of alien life contact with Earth in the past, and so there's been some kind of revelation where the world is getting full disclosure about our real knowledge that there is an alien race, and this brother and sister duo, for whatever reason, are really at the spotlight of this whole entire fiasco. And it looks like a lot of fun. I love a good sci-fi, especially with some big names behind it. And it just says, when the time is right, everything will become clear. That's kind of the tagline for this movie. So a perfect time of year for a brand new amazing science fiction to come out. The first teaser was released in December, and it actually had a Super Bowl ad that was unveiling the announcement of this film. So long awaited. The stars include Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, Eve Hewson, and Coleman Domingo, along with many others, really big names in this film. So the trailer is pretty thrilling. It doesn't include any shots of actual aliens. It just hints that is what's going on, and it hints it pretty clearly. So it feels like a conspiracy, to kind of keep things quiet, and that these people are really want the world to know the truth. So I think this will be a lot of fun. I'm looking for the rating on this one. I love when I can go check out a movie with the whole family. And I don't know if I can take the whole family for this one. What's it rated? Let's see if we can find it here. I'm going to have to search a Disclosure Day rating. PG-13. So yes, this is one that you can bring the older kids to enjoy as a family. And that went really well recently with Project Hail Mary as a PG-13 film in that science fiction space. So hopefully this will be just as good or better. It seems more action-packed and gripping, less kind of sweet, like the Ryan Gosling sweet from Hail Mary that we remember. So this one will keep you maybe a little more on the edge of your seat. I am certainly looking forward to it this weekend, Disclosure Day. Get your tickets now at oakcenter.net. Thanks, everybody. Hi, everyone. I'm Lane Caddy, your host of Pop Leisure. Pop Leisure gives you the lowdown on local happenings, movies, music, arts, and entertainment. Let us know what's happening in your neck of the woods at Pop Leisure Show on Instagram or email popleisureshow@gmail.com. Join us on FM 98.5 The Phoenix, Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 9 p.m. Today, I am joined by a special guest, Michael Kalivik. He is a museum docent, which means a tour guide at the Schuylkill River Heritage Center. And he's here to tell us a little bit more about the Schuylkill River Heritage Center, and especially about the Phoenix Wheel, which has just been constructed in Phoenixville. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here, Lane.
Thanks for coming. I'm so excited to have somebody close to the event, the event of the unveiling of the Phoenix Wheel, to tell us more about how it came to be here in Phoenixville and the history of this and just the decisions behind it. So just last weekend was the unveiling, the ribbon cutting ceremony of the wheel, and it is now open to the public. Is that right?
Yes.
And what's that experience like? If I took my family to see the wheel, what happens? What are we met with there?
Well, first of all, you can't miss it. It's 78 feet tall, and it's bright red, and it's spectacular, really.
That's wonderful. If we go and see, is there a little bit of a history documented on some plaques somewhere, or are we going into an exhibit? Tell me more.
There is a descriptive plaque, and as well the grounds have been, they've installed paving stones that have been inscribed by the donors who purchased the stones.
Oh, that's wonderful. So donors were funding the project.
And we still need funding, so the stones are still available for purchase.
Excellent, excellent. We'll get more about how to purchase one of the funding stones a little bit later. But first, I'd love to talk about the history of the Phoenix wheel. Tell me more about when it was made and by whom. I know that it has roots in Phoenixville, and that's why it's here. But what's the story? Paint a picture for us.
Well, before I say anything about the wheel or the Schuylkill River Heritage Center, I have to mention Barbara Cohen.
Oh.
Barbara Cohen was the driving force behind the Heritage Center, Renaissance Park in Phoenixville, and bringing the wheel back to Phoenixville. She was the original president of the Schuylkill River Heritage Center, recently retired, and really she was the mastermind and the energy. Phoenixville, well, I'm a native-born Phoenician, and for me, Phoenician is the preferred term, not Phoenixville, and that sounds like a bad person.
It does sound like a bad person.
So Phoenician is the term I use. In fact, it is related to the term phoenix because it was an ancient Greek word meaning flame-colored.
Oh.
And the ancient Greeks referred to the North African merchants that brought them this fabulous red dye as Phoenicians.
Yes.
So, and I just think it sounds better.
It sure does.
villains.
So Barbara Cohen was many years the president of the Schuylkill River Heritage Society, and you say it was her idea to get the Phoenix wheel back.
Yeah. Now, I was not living at Phoenixville at that time. The Phoenixville I grew up in is not the Phoenixville people see today. And I knew I had no future in Phoenixville, seeing what was going on with the town economically. And as soon as I graduated high school, I enlisted in the Navy to get as far away from a dying town as I could.
And what year was that?
That was 1975.
Okay.
And I just moved back to Phoenixville about 7 years ago, and it's been completely transformed economically. And now it's thriving, and it's great to see. The wheel is just one symbol of that renaissance, that rebirth, Phoenixville living up to its name.
It's true. It has really undergone a tremendous rebirth, and there's so much vibrant life happening there right now. And I'm glad that you introduced me to the name Barbara Cohen. She's not someone that I know personally. I'm looking forward to finding out more about her. How did she make it happen? So the decision, it was her idea to get the wheel back from, was it when it was in Asbury Park, New Jersey, that she wanted to get it back?
I think at that time it had been moved from Asbury Park to Louisiana. I could be wrong, but it was no longer in Asbury Park. And,
okay.
That was part of her vision.
So for our listeners that don't know the history, the Phoenix wheel is is the oldest amusement wheel in the world. That's what I've heard. Am I right about that, Michael?
It's the oldest wheel that still exists. It was inspired by the 1893 Chicago Fair Ferris wheel, which was the original wheel to bear that name after the engineer George Ferris, who designed it.
Yes.
And it was a monster at 250 feet in diameter. It could hold 2,000 passengers at a time. And it inspired other companies, such as the Phoenix Iron Works, to create amusement wheels. And this wheel that was constructed by the Phoenix Iron Works is one of 4 that I know of that were created and sold by the Phoenix Iron Works. And this one, like you said, was in Asbury Park for many years. It was rather unique in having an observation platform that was fitted atop the wheel. So passengers could ride the wheel nearly to the top, get out of their seats, and climb a ladder to the observation deck.
Wow.
Now, that observation deck was dismantled in the 1920s when the wheel was electrified. Prior to that, it was operated by a steam engine. But that is why the support towers for the wheel seem so over-engineered.
Ah.
They're these huge, massive, boxy structures that hold up this wheel, and you think, well, why would a Ferris wheel of this size need such? It's because originally those towers extended all the way above the wheel and supported that platform.
That's amazing. And it was a large platform? Many people could stand and just see the sights from the top?
It was large. I can't tell you the exact dimensions. I've only seen a couple photographs of it, old photographs. But,
wow. And then I just learned something new as well. I had no idea that the original wheel was steam-powered.
Yes.
That's fascinating. And in the 20s, you say it was electrified.
Right.
And that's when they did away with that observation deck.
Yes.
Amazing. And so, okay, the whole time, it sounds like the whole time that all these things were happening is when it was assembled in Asbury Park, New Jersey. I understand it was there for nearly a century. And then not terribly long ago, maybe in the last decade or so, it was taken down. And we're not sure what happened to it. Do you know what happened to it?
Well, when I moved back to Phoenixville and got my job at the Schuylkill River Heritage Center, I learned about the wheel for the first time. Growing up in Phoenixville, you didn't learn about the history of Phoenixville at all. I had no idea that the Phoenix Iron Works made Ferris wheels. But
right.
Anyway,
well, and this particular wheel never really lived in Phoenixville until now. So this is
that is correct.
It was just built by the Phoenixville Iron Works. And that is a really pivotal, important company in the town's history for reasons. You'll tell us more about that.
Well, the Phoenix Iron Works, or ultimately the Phoenix Steel Corporation, has its roots way back in the 1780s when they began smelting iron at the location where the foundry building is today. And they used the iron that they made to make nails. So originally, at the location of the foundry, there was a nail factory, originally known as the French Creek Nail Factory.
Okay.
But in 1813, a new superintendent took over control of the nail factory, and one day, according to the story, he was looking in the blast furnace, watching the flames, and it reminded him of stories he'd read of the phoenix bird, this legendary creature that was consumed by flames in its nest, but rose from its ashes even greater. So he renamed the French Creek Nail Works the Phoenix Nail Works. And as the nail works attracted laborers to settle in the area, they began to call that village Phoenixville.
Oh, wow.
But it wouldn't be until 1849 that the borough of Phoenixville was officially incorporated, ironically because the ironworks, they didn't want to have to pay taxes to a borough government. So they fought against it. But by the late 1840s, the population of Phoenixville was demanding municipal services, fire departments and water and streets and zoning and all that stuff. So 1849, the borough of Phoenixville was officially incorporated. And the ironworks was Phoenixville's largest employer for most of its history until in the late 20th century, of course, things took a downturn. And ultimately in 1987, everything fell idle and the company went out of business for good.
Oh.
And all of the shops among the 130-acre complex were torn down except for the foundry building and an office building on Bridge Street, which is now the Boardroom Restaurant. And both buildings, by the way, are constructed of the same locally quarried stone.
Oh, that's fascinating. The Boardroom Restaurant is one of the original buildings from the foundry. And the foundry building itself, I understand that one underwent a major renovation. Tell us about that.
Well, the building was built in 1882, and it reflects the prosperity of the Phoenix Iron Company in the 19th century because they hired a world-class architect, Henry Hudson Richardson, to design the foundry building. And anyone that looks at the exterior doesn't see a factory building. They see a train station or a cathedral or something like that.
Because it's so beautiful.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
So now, it's interesting to note that in 1882, the Phoenix Iron Works was only manufacturing iron at that time. So the elaborate truss work that holds up the roof, which is a cantilever design that does not require vertical columns to hold it up, which gives you wide open working space, all that truss work is made of iron. And when the company went out of business in 1987, they didn't tear down the building, but it was left to fall into decay.
Okay.
All the windows were knocked out, there were gaping holes in the roof, and that iron truss work was exposed to the weather for years. If it had been made of steel, which they did start manufacturing in the late 1880s, but if it had been made of carbon steel, it would probably have been too badly corroded to be structurally sound, and they might not have been able to preserve the building.
How fascinating. So because it was made of iron is why it is still very much original to the building even now.
Yep.
And the renovations, that wasn't a matter of total rebuild. It was just a matter of what took place during the renovation period.
Well, first of all, the interior of the building was a mess and full of things that needed to be gotten rid of.
Of course.
All the windows needed to be replaced, and the slate roof needed to be replaced. Beyond that, I can't tell you much.
And when did that happen?
From what I know, the building was reopened in its present configuration in 2008.
Okay, very good. That's not that long ago.
I was still living in North Jersey at the time because, like I said, I enlisted in the Navy to get away from Phoenixville. Thought I'd make the Navy a career, but it was a bad time to be in the service, ironically. It was just after Vietnam. And budgets were cut, morale was low. Things were bad. I did my 6 years, got out and got a college degree.
Oh, good.
Became a teacher and moved to New Jersey where the money and the jobs were at the time.
Were you a history teacher?
I was a history teacher.
I can tell you have such a love for the knowledge of this history. This is so rich and wonderful. That's fantastic. And what brought you back to Phoenixville eventually?
Well, in the summer of 2019, when I decided to retire from full-time work, I also decided to move. And moving back to Phoenixville just made sense to me at that time. I still had family back here. And
that's nice.
And like we know, Phoenixville is a different town now. It's no longer a dying town. It's a thriving town.
And you're an advocate for it here, and being part of the Schuylkill River Heritage Society and knowing so much as you know about the history. It's wonderful to see that you're really part of the force that's driving it upward. Well,
the Schuylkill River Heritage Center is a not-for-profit organization, or as I like to say, a 501c3PO. We are not-for-profit, and the force is with us.
And the force is with you. That's right. That's right. So tell me more about, if I were to take my family to the Schuylkill River Heritage Museum, what is the experience like there? Or what are the hours? When can we come visit? And how long does it take to go through the space?
The Heritage Center is open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay.
And like I say, it's located in the east wing of the Foundry building. When you get there, you'll see our open flag by the door.
Good.
Parking is free. Admission is free. And when you enter, it's not a very large museum, but we do have a lot of interesting artifacts and interactive exhibits. And
so that would be fun for the kids. I think they'd really like that. Good.
Yeah.
11 to 3, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
And now if we go to the Schuylkill River Heritage Museum and someone like yourself would maybe kind of give us a little bit of a tour and show us around about the interactive exhibits. And is it right next to the wheel, if we came to see the wheel, or is that in a different part of town?
No, the wheel is about a block and a half away or so. It's on Bridge Street.
Okay, so we could take a little walk afterwards to see the wheel.
It's a short walk to the wheel, yes.
Right, and the wheel doesn't have any indoor exhibits. It's all just out in the open.
That is correct.
But there's some plaques with information, get some of the history that you've shared with us. And now there was a decision. I don't know if it was a decision or if it was just the state of the wheel, but I understand that the wheel itself isn't going to be functional. It's not rotating. We're not taking rides on it. So tell me about is that because of the condition of it, or was that a decision made?
That's a topic of discussion, actually.
It is.
A year or more ago, when the plans were being finalized to construct the wheel, I was told that the wheel was just going to be a static sculpture, and therefore all of the drivetrain components could be left off of it because they would not be necessary.
Okay.
But I see that with the wheel in place finally, all the drivetrain components are in place. The electric motor, the reduction gearbox, the drive chain, everything is there, and I know that there are advocates for making it a functional wheel, so...
Oh, how exciting. So that might be in its future? Is that what you're saying?
That's very possible from what I understand. But again, I'm just a worker bee here, so...
I understand. I understand that may also be a matter of funding, perhaps.
I'm sure funding is fundamental to everything.
It sure is. And you were telling me about the possibility for our listeners to help with funding. And you said that they can, what happens if you give a certain amount of donation to the Schuylkill River Heritage Center, that you can have a commemorative brick with your family name engraved. And where does that land, the brick?
Well, there are two types of bricks, or actually three now, I understand. There's the red clay bricks, which are along the pathway, and then there's a circle area where the granite bricks are installed.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
Okay. So the granite bricks are the higher value.
Yes.
Okay, and you could get a red clay brick. What do you remember? Do you know the pricing for these?
The red clay bricks are $100. The granite bricks are $500.
Okay.
And I believe they've also added a $1,500 brick. I'm not quite sure that's the actual price, but it's a much larger, basically for local businesses.
For the business donation. Guys, I got to tell you, that is not a tremendous expense to donate to such an excellent cause and to have your family name commemorated here on the, it says French Creek Trailhead brick is the $100 version. So it goes on a brick pathway next to the French Creek Trailhead. And then this other one, $500 for what says a wheel spoke brick. And I guess that's closer to the wheel itself.
Yes.
That is a fantastic program. How can people get one of these bricks? It says here you could mail a check.
Yeah, the information is at the bottom of the
Okay,
flyer.
here, let me,
there.
I stole the flyer and then asked questions. Make checks payable to Schuylkill River Heritage Center, P.O. Box 427, Phoenixville, PA. So if you just put a note in with it that's what your goal is with a $100 or $500 donation, you too will have a brick here. And if people have questions about this, Michael, what's the best way to get in touch with the Schuylkill River Heritage Center?
If I knew the phone number off the top of my head, I would tell you.
So there's a phone number. Is there a website probably?
There's a website,
There's a
yes.
website. There's a phone number. Y'all know how to use Google. You'll find it. So
Yeah.
Michael would be happy to help if you get a hold of them at the museum. And I am really just thrilled about this new. It's a tourist attraction. Really, people are going to come from miles around to check out the wheel in Phoenixville. It kind of makes Phoenixville kind of commemorative in certain ways, and I'm excited to see more business, more tourism, more families just coming to check out the Phoenix wheel.
Yeah, you can't help but feel good at looking at the wheel. I mean, well, yes.
It is made for fun. That was the point of it.
Even
right?
if you'd rather have a parking garage at that location, the wheel looks better.
You heard it. You heard it here from the source. Michael says the wheel looks better, and it does. And it does. This has been so informative. Is there anything that I missed, Michael? Is there anything you want to make sure people remember?
Well, we are a not-for-profit organization, and we always need donations, so that's the main
right.
thing.
Help us to preserve the heritage of Phoenixville. It has come such a long way. Your story of how it really lives up to the name of the Phoenix is so true, and we're proud to be part of the community here at Phoenixville. So everybody, remember the wheel and the Schuylkill Heritage Society, the Schuylkill River Heritage Center. Sounds like a really fun outing for the family, and maybe when you're there you can check out the donations for these bricks at the big wheel. All right, guys, this is Lane Caddy coming at you from Pop Leisure. Thanks, Michael, so much for being here.
Thank you.
Take it easy. Have a good one, everybody. You're listening to Pop Leisure, and I'm your host, Lane Caddy. Pop Leisure gives you the lowdown on local happenings, movies, music, art, and entertainment. I'm joined today by Bob Trate, Director of Audience Development for Oaks Center Cinema. That's the 24-plex movie theater right here in the heart of Oaks. And we're just so excited to have you here, Bob, to hear more about what Oaks is showing this summer. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Lane. Thanks for having me back on.
Good.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to announce that we're doing a special summer series this year, and we're calling it the Summer of 82. And that is a phenomenal summer for movies. And we thought it would be fun for Oaks, for their patrons to come in and experience what the summer of 1982 felt like at the movies.
Oh, cool.
So with those movies, I mean, if you look at the dates, some of the dates are amazing that a lot of these movies came out the same month. So I'm going to do 4 that are crazy.
Okay.
E.T.
Oh.
Blade Runner.
Classic.
The Thing.
Wow.
Poltergeist.
Oh.
And I'll throw the other one in there. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Oh, wow.
All of those came out in June in the summer of 1982. So can you imagine? Now, some of those movies, and I will say as we look back, they're considered classics. Blade Runner, The Thing, they were flops.
Were they?
They were flops. They were flops. They gained momentum in becoming cult films because of video stores and cable. So they became recognized by an entirely different audience that, face it, you're going to go see E.T. again, which opened 2 weeks before The Thing, or you're going to see this, what they considered a ripoff by the director of the original The Thing from Another World, which was pretty much a gore fest or considered a advertisement for Jim Beam alcohol.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah. So a lot of people ignored John Carpenter's reimagining of The Thing when it came out because, quite frankly, there were other things to see. There was Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, which was a total reboot of that film franchise and actually launched the film franchise because after 1, everybody was like, oh, that was really boring.
Oh, no.
And then they brought in a cheaper production, a director who had only directed like 2 films, if that, Nicholas Meyer, and then revamped everything and then relaunched this series and made the quintessential Star Trek movie. Like Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan is just amazing. But that whole summer is packed with movies of Dolly Parton's The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, which is a musical with oh my goodness, Burt Reynolds. There he goes.
Oh, wow.
With Burt Reynolds. Where An Officer and a Gentleman with Richard Gere and Lou Gossett Jr., who won his Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. That's that same summer.
That's mind-blowing. It feels like it must have just... Well, you just told me that they weren't all blockbusters when they hit,
Yes,
but it
but
just sounds like
those
such
two
like
were.
a heyday of cinema,
Yeah.
right? To have just like one after the other after the other.
And
of
that's
these
our
huge films.
hindsight in looking back. Now, we still are going to embrace some of the, the lesser known films now, or maybe the films that have established a cult status. So we're going to show Grease 2.
Oh, good.
With Michelle Pfeiffer. That's a great one to show. But if you've never seen Night Shift, so this is a movie directed by Ron Howard.
I have not.
Starring Michael Keaton and Henry Winkler. Yes, the Fonz.
Oh.
They are 2 guys that work in the city morgue, and then they end up opening a brothel and run it out of the morgue.
And this is called Night Shift?
Night Shift. And it's a
Okay.
total comedy. Drew Barrymore's mom is one of the call girls. Shelley Long is one of the call girls.
Wow.
Michael Keaton is unhinged. He is so funny. Henry Winkler plays the straight man, totally not the Fonz at all.
Wow.
And I forget why they do this, but it's just an insane comedy.
I love it that it's a comedy. If you told me that whole kind of like groundwork for it and then said, that it's a drama,
Yeah.
I would be like,
You're
no,
like, oh, no.
thank you. But as a comedy, I can really see that working.
It's so strange, but it's one of those movies that you look at the summer and go, wow, that got in there somehow. Like Ron Howard, I'm like, I think that was right before Splash. So it's one of his earlier films, but definitely a comedy. And of course there is the Fast Times at Ridgemont High was the same summer.
Classic.
So, I mean, that has so many people in it.
Is that in your lineup?
Of course it is.
Oh,
It
yes?
actually leads the lineup.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't do them in release dates of when they actually came out. And because we start in June and we'll go to the first weekend in August with these titles.
Okay.
But there'll be 2 movies a week that you'll have the opportunity to see throughout the week. So, for example, Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan will be the first 2 that will play the first week of June. So you'll have multiple opportunities to come in.
Okay.
But then we are going to pack the trailers with a couple of new things coming out, but we will have vintage trailers telling you when the next movies are coming out. I mean, it'll all be on our website, but it's more fun to sit there and watch the trailer for The Thing while you're just about to watch Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. So it's going to give you that flavor of sitting in 1982 all over again.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun. You know, even the ambiance at Oak Center Cinema, I think really lends to this. Oak Center Cinema, the building originally as a Regal, I think it opened in 1998, maybe it's 96. I don't know the exact date, but it was opened in the 90s. However, it is chock-a-block full of neon lighting, and it has a total 80s, early 90s kind of Saved by the Bell.
It does. It's that neon.
That neon really takes it back to, and we get people remark all the time about how it feels nostalgic in there. So I feel like with these summer of 1982 films, it's going to just be like a time capsule.
It is. I think you're going to get that real kind of feel for it. I love the neon on the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
That's in some locations, the mirrors in some of the places that are there. It's really going to give you the feeling. And of course, we have arcade games inside the lobby. So you're really going to, it's going to get the whole experience for you. You know, and see as many as you can. We will do Blade Runner. Unfortunately, it's going to be Blade Runner the final cut. It won't be Blade Runner the theatrical cut.
Okay.
It's one of those little weird rules with Warner Brothers where you have to show the version they dictate.
Sure.
It's just one of those versions.
For those that don't know, what is the difference?
Well, Blade Runner the theatrical cut had a voiceover with Harrison Ford, and he kind of is very much a neo-noir like film where he's telling you, filling in the gaps of things that are not on screen, but he's kind of narrating it in a Humphrey Bogart / Sam Spade kind of story because he's kind of like a detective who's hunting these androids. But in the Blade Runner, the final cut, there's dream sequences that were cut out of the original cut. The voiceover is gone, which is good because there were things that were said in the voiceover cut, in the original cut, that aren't really appropriate now. So depending on your level of fandom with Blade Runner, it's always worth seeing always we're seeing on the big screen. But for some people, they have the Mandela effect. They have the voiceover in their head regardless.
They wish it was still there.
Yeah. So I've actually watched the movie with people who have never seen it, and they have like, I have no clue what's going on. And I'm like, well, this is it. And I'm like, I'm realizing I'm telling you everything from the voiceover.
The voiceover was kind of important to really kind of keeping your bearings in the story.
And it's a fun movie. It's a movie that at the time when it did come out, it was a flop to a point, but a lot of critics said it was ahead of its time. And you watch it now, and here we are 40 some years later, it's still ahead of its time.
Wow.
It's still there, but it's got and the more you watch it, the more you realize that you're really not supposed to be rooting for Harrison Ford. You're supposed to be rooting for Roy Batty, the replicant / I guess we call that robot or android, that he is the one who just wants to live longer. That's his only goal. I just want to keep living. And he only has a 4-year lifespan. Oh. So you're like, well, that's really the hero of the story. Like he didn't ask to be born that way, and he just wants to keep living.
Wow.
So it's such a great story that as you watch it, as I have, as I've gotten older, for me, when I was little, it was Han Solo was hunting robots in the future. And now I've watched it to a point where Harrison Ford is no longer the hero. He's actually the dark character who's tasked with this, and we get to a point where I'm rooting for the robots. Like I'm rooting for the replicants.
That is so touching how your interpretation of this film has really changed over time.
It is
amazing.
It's one of those that, along with Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, which is a story about like an absent father trying to make good with his son, and then there's Moby Dick is mixed in there, and it's just all this craziness that these movies, when you get older and you watch them over and over again, you realize how brilliant some of them really were. Yeah. And some people just label them as, it's a movie about the TV show, and you're like, no, like there's a lot of good performances going on here, and the story is much deeper than what most people realize.
You're making a really good case for people to come out and see them this summer, because if you haven't seen the movie in the 40 years since it came
Yeah.
out, 40
Yeah.
plus, then it's probably really transformed how you would view it.
It is. And we look at it now and we can look at like, wow, William Shatner still had a bad toupee back in 1982. But man, Ricardo Montalban is fantastic as the villain here. Like, he's so good and he's so flawed, you know, but he thinks that he's brilliant, but he's actually flawed. Like, he's not going to win this.
Yeah.
So there's little things like that that are fun to watch. But I mean, you know, Fast Times at Ridgemont High is the coming of age story that we've all experienced of living through high school. So if you've never seen it, or you need to see it, or you need to take maybe your 13 or 14-year-old kid to see it, they're going to actually be able to identify it with, in a lot of ways, like, yeah, hanging out with my friends or working that summer job or working the job over Christmas. Because Fast Times at Ridgemont High really does encompass a full year. And there's multiple Academy Award winners in there.
Yeah.
Sean Penn, Forrest Whitaker. I'm sorry if Cameron Crowe I don't know if Cameron Crowe won or like a writing Academy Award, but Amy Heckerling, who directed it, was so far ahead of her time. And, you know, Cameron Crowe and her had to fight for the soundtrack because the studio didn't want all this like pop music that they didn't know what it is. And now those songs are, you know, iconic.
Yeah.
So it's so great. And there's so many people. Even Nicolas Cage is in there as like one of the guys working at the fast food restaurant. And he's Nicholas Coppola. He hadn't changed his name yet.
Oh, wow.
So he's in there for like just like a couple quick shots. And
that's a really
like
cool
it.
moment.
So there's lots of things to see in this movie. And I always think that a movie like this, multiple generations can come and see. And you can always bring somebody who's like, you know, oh, I don't want to watch it at home. But now you can see it big. You can feel the space battles. You can see all the details that you're not going to see on screen, on your screen at home. You're going to see them 100 times the size. And you're like, I never noticed that in the background.
Right.
I never noticed that little thing. Or, I actually saw the Millennium Falcon in Blade Runner as one of the cityscape buildings this time around.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things you have to look for and like point it out. And like, I couldn't see that on my TV. Now it's like
right there,
right there.
really big.
Yeah.
I have to ask a question. I have a 13-year-old child, and you said that Fast Times at Ridgemont High maybe. Now I need to know. I haven't actually seen that one. Okay, so I'm thinking, how tame is it? Do you really take like a young teen to? It sounds a little spicy. Like when I hear
spicy.
Fast Times,
it's a little spicy.
It's maybe too spicy.
It's a little spicy. But it's also, you know, from the male and female perspective. So maybe that's the conversation that you have afterwards. Let's talk about what we saw.
Yeah, I mean, those conversations are really meaningful.
And maybe that makes it easier after a movie instead of just straightforward having the conversation. Because those scenes are in there. There is Jennifer Jason Leigh is that character where she's trying to find out who she is and where she belongs and what she's capable of. And she keeps failing at it.
Oh.
So maybe that's one of those things where, you know, that's where you have that kind of conversation.
It's an interesting
afterwards.
idea to like preface a young person's growing pains, identity crisis conversation with a film like this to like kind of see that it's a universal experience to try to have to struggle through those things.
Right.
But I'm a little overprotective. I'm probably going to have to watch it myself first to
and
see
that's always
if
good. That's always good. And, you know, no doubt. But then again, you can also go and see E.T. and you guys will be
right.
You know,
I'm sure that's okay.
You'll be fine. You know, it's like, but for E.T., for me personally, I saw it when I was 7 years old. So I was Elliot. And now I've gotten to a point where I was Mike because I was the older brother. And now I'm the parent.
Yes.
That's weird for me. So the last time I watched E.T., which was back in October, I was like, oh my God, I've gone through 3 of the characters now. Because I wasn't Gertie. I wasn't that little.
Yeah.
But I have gone through the 3 characters. Even to the point where I'm almost the last character Peter Coyote plays called Keys. And I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm that character. Like I'm almost like the dad character at the end who's trying to protect not just Elliot, but E.T. at the same time. Because you're trying to protect the memory of what this film meant and what it represents to everybody else and try to get it out to as many people as possible. It's still, it's hard to argue which of Spielberg's like top 2 movies are, but E.T. and Close Encounters for me they always are above Schindler's List. Schindler's List is important, but E.T. just has that amazing, you know, magic to it.
Magical.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and you will cry at the end. Like if you don't have a soul,
I
if
agree.
you are not
if
crying,
you do not cry at the end of
somewhere
E.T.,
between
something is wrong.
somewhere between when they actually take flight at the end, all the way to the very like when the spaceship takes off and makes the rainbow. If you're not
Right.
crying somewhere in there,
Seek therapy. If you're not.
oh my God. And I've seen it with an audience for I think it was the 30th anniversary. And I saw it in LA and I was outside and there was an older gentleman sitting next to me. He was clearly a dad. And we get to that moment. We're all in red sweatshirts that they gave us. And I turn over and I look and the tears are just running down his eyes and mine too. But it was weird to not know who this person was and realize that they're crying. I watch with my wife. She cries every time, and we're trying to figure out when is the right time to show my son this movie. Cause some of it is a little scary at the beginning.
It's a little startling.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
And then we're going to deal with that whole scene where E.T. dies, I'm so spoiler, sorry.
If you haven't seen it,
If you haven't seen it, but you're going to have to deal with that. And then how am I ready to deal with that for my son?
Right.
Because within like 6 minutes, the heart light goes back on. So, it's going to be rough.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be rough. But I
rough.
mean, if it happens, well, it's going to happen in June here at Oaks.
Right.
Maybe this is the time to take him and see it and show it to him big.
Maybe it is. Yeah. And so you can have this will precursor your weird conversation with your kid. We're both going to have some weird conversations.
Yeah, like, life and death and E.T.
Yeah,
that's
life
what we're
is
going to
hard.
have. Yeah.
That's bizarre. And who knew all in the summer of 1982, this like deep philosophical.
Exactly. And there's, and I will say this too about The Thing. Who do you trust? And can you turn on each other when things go bad? And The Thing was one of the movies to watch during COVID.
Was it?
Yeah, in the horror community it was.
Okay.
But what's amazing is that because of it is a movie that the horror community has loved so much, we were all ready. Like we were in the mindset of being prepared, of being, ready to do whatever it was, because Kurt Russell taught us that.
Yes.
Be ready.
Ready.
Think what's going to happen. Think it through. Think it all the way through to the end. So it's one of those movies where in the horror community, it was like, yeah, we all hold The Thing way up there because we all know how brilliant it is with practical effects and some of the effects that they did. I don't even want to spoil. Just watch the special features on that Blu-ray or Laserdisc or whatever you have, because you're going to go like, they did what now?
Wow.
And it's all practical effects by Rob Bottin. And I mean, the guy was amazing. And he's like all of like early 20s and did special effects and should have won an Academy Award. It's amazing.
But he didn't?
I don't think he did. Well, it's 82. So 82 was a rough.
Tough competition.
Because I don't even think, because remember, we're just doing the summer. So if you look into some of the other movies, there's other movies out there. I believe Gandhi is what beats E.T. at the Academy Awards that year.
Oh.
So Gandhi like cleaned house, but how many people have seen Gandhi
I haven't.
in relation to how many people have seen E.T. more than 5 times?
Right. Everybody saw E.T.
It's one of those things where
Right.
the Academy Awards, as you look back, you're like, oh, that won Best Picture? Annie Hall beat Star Wars? It's just like, it's one of those weird things where at the moment it's there, but as we look back in hindsight, it's completely different.
So strange. So strange. Yeah. Well, it's so cool that we're bringing it back to life this summer, right?
And seeing it big. That's the way you see it.
Yeah.
You've seen it on your phone. You've seen it on your TV. I don't care how big your TV is. Your TV is not as big as the screen that we have.
Oh my goodness, no. Yeah, absolutely. And even like you kind of do think like, oh, well, it's 8K and I can, it's so the TV, the screens are bigger and cheaper and even more clear and brilliant. Yeah. But seeing it on a movie screen is so different. And one of the things that I think is especially different is the sound.
Oh my God!
For me, the experience of the sound that kind of like you feel in your chest, right?
My God, yeah.
That's really cool. And in my neighborhood, I don't want to bother my neighbors,
well,
so
yeah.
I don't like even when I am watching a movie, I just can't bring myself to really crank the sound the way that I'd like to.
And there's so many, like John Williams' score here is fantastic. You want to hear it as loud as you can.
Right, that soaring.
Yes, especially the end. It goes with
Mm-hmm.
the end. But then you have, in Star Trek II, you have James Horner's score. And James Horner, won the Academy Award for Braveheart. He won it for Titanic. Oh. But here he is doing a Star Trek movie, a movie that they didn't want to pay the original artist from the first Star Trek movie because he was too expensive. So they literally found this guy's samples in that were mailed to the director, and he was like, I really like what this guy's got going on here. Like, this is really different. And he had worked for Roger Corman, and he had done a bunch of crazy horror movies and some sci-fi Star Wars ripoffs and stuff. But that score redefined Star Trek music.
Oh, I love that you're telling me this story. I love like an underdog story of an undiscovered artist. And he found his little demo tapes and said, let's give him a chance.
Yeah. Well, mostly because he was cheaper.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's how it starts, doesn't it?
But the score was like, oh my God, like, that's amazing.
He was brilliant.
Yeah. He's even in the movie. He plays like a Starfleet cadet, like running by in one shot.
That's so funny.
Yeah. All of those little crazy things are inside that movie. But, as scores go, you want to hear it loud. You want to hear that. Blade Runner's music by Vangelis is so iconic. And I've seen the movie multiple times, and sometimes you just close your eyes and you're in the theater and you just want to listen because there's so much music that sets this mood to the movie that's its own character. And that's why it's worth watching and listening to see it as big as possible.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. In the theaters.
And you're going to get reactions from people that have never seen it before.
Yeah.
You're also going to give yourself over to the movie in a way maybe you haven't in a long time. Like, you watch a movie at home. What are you doing? You're folding the laundry. You're, maybe the kids went to bed. Maybe the kids are up and down the steps because they haven't gone to bed yet.
So true.
Or, the cat knocks something over and you miss a quintessential part.
Yes.
When you go to the movies itself, you actually can give yourself over to the experience.
I love that.
And then you can listen to the people next to you. So maybe something at Fast Times at Ridgemont High has lost its laughter for you because you've seen it 100 times.
Right.
But now the person next to you is laughing and you're like, yeah, that is funny.
Right. I'll be that person laughing because I haven't seen it before. I think that's
totally
be
forgot
so
that was funny.
Yes.
And I've experienced that numerous times. And one thing that we are going to bring back to Oaks this summer is we're going to bring back Jaws with the D-Box experience.
Really?
So, yeah, we're going to do that sometime in the end of the summer. We're going to bring Jaws back. So not only are you going to get to watch Jaws with an audience again, but with the D-Box seats, you're going to get a little bit more motion and some jumping.
Oh, that's going to be so good. All right. So for the uninitiated, D-Box is a immersive motion seating technology. So each of the D-Box seats has a motion actuator with your own personal controls to control the intensity, am I right, of the movement. And so I just think for Jaws, those jump scares are going to just send you through the roof. If you're in a chair that like just jump scares for you, like, oh my goodness, that's going to be a blast.
I never got to see Jaws on IMAX 3D. It came out a couple years ago, but I've seen it on film. I've seen it at DCP. I've seen it just about every way possible except floating in the water, which some people do in a couple different places on the shore coast.
Can't imagine it, but okay.
Yeah, I can't. I don't really know if I want to do that, but I definitely want to experience it for D-Box because I want to know where they're going to jump me. Is my chair going to rock on the water?
Oh, yeah.
Because the last half of the movie, you're on the water the whole time. So in my mind, I'm thinking like when he bursts through and just tries to get Brody in that one shot, is my whole chair going to jerk with that?
Yes. Your whole chair is going to startle the crap out of you.
Yeah.
And I think that just for anybody that's concerned about becoming seasick in this experience, that is why each of them have their own controls. So if you are floating on the ocean in your chair and you can't take it, it's okay. You can turn it off for a little while. But I think it's going to be really epic for those jump scare moments. I'm thrilled.
And you're going to get to experience it in a way you haven't ever before.
That's true. It's a brand new way to see that movie.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And if you've seen it as many times as if you are a Jaws fan, you probably watch it every July, you're definitely going to want to experience this. So we're going to run that for some time. We're working out the schedule right now, but to give people that D-Box experience with the movie they've already seen. So hopefully they jump to something like Avengers Doomsday and like, we got to get the D-Box tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Because I did it with Jaws and that was amazing. So, and this, I won't know what's coming.
Right,
like, right. In Jaws, you'll know, like, all right, this is when he hits the boat. Or
right, you're kind of expecting if you've seen it, Not everybody has seen it, though, We've got some young people that probably haven't given it a shot. Or maybe you missed it when it came out.
Yeah.
Who knows? Here's your opportunity to really check it out. And especially for things that do have those startle moments, I think that not just the D-Box, but that big screen gives it that extra level of immersive experience where you're really in it.
I've been told Scream 7, you actually feel like you get like stabbed in the back.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're like, if you like this like punch in the back, or it's just like hitting you with it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So I was told that. Yeah.
I don't do really well at scary movies. I could not handle it. It would be like over the top for me. I'd leave crying.
Well, we're looking at the Nightmare on Elm Streets because those are also all of them are in D-Box.
Oh, really?
So we're trying to figure out like how we can bounce around some different genres, some different high-profile titles, so that we can work it into that experience. But my question, and this is out there to D-Box, like how long is it going to take you to start doing some of these classic movies that we can get this experience? Like imagine, like they've done it with Top Gun. Mm-hmm. So what about something like Days of Thunder? That's a race car movie. Like, are we going to get that kind of experience that would bring back a movie of that nature? Or like maybe Gone in 60 Seconds, like either version, the original and the remake, to give you a little bit more of a zoom, when you're racing, or the cars bouncing back and forth. Armageddon would be another one. I mean,
Armageddon, what a movie.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's just like, that's one that you're bouncing all over the place already visually.
Yes.
So what would that feel like if you were sitting in those chairs?
That would be very cool. I bet D-Box did Top Gun because there was a sequel, the third or fourth or fifth or whatever, and they did the original also at the same time. Yeah. But that's a really good question. Like, it doesn't have to be linked to some new thing that comes out. Let's go look back and see what we can pull that would really hit home for people, because that experience is like none other, and it would be especially cool on certain titles that you can think of.
There is a whole genre of films from the 70s, the disaster movies. Like there's Roller Coaster, there's Earthquake, there's Asteroid. I mean, those movies, they're not the best, but they are fun. But to have that kind of experience, you'd think that one of the studios would be like, all right, let's hire a couple of interns and work this out.
I think that would be a tough sell for D-Box, because I think it takes a huge amount of effort, right? So they have somebody that has to program that actuator for the duration of the movie and sync it to every little detail, and they do a great job of it. But I can't imagine the cost that goes into one of those.
Gotta be something.
Yeah, they got to know that it's going to come back to them somehow, right?
But there's lots of those movies out there. I'm just saying, D-Box, if you're listening.
If you're listening, D-Box, we love you so much and we want more.
Exactly. The airport movies, like the Airport 75, Airport 77 with plane crashes in them. Or what about Die Hard?
Die Hard, yes.
That's a no-brainer at Christmas time. Die Hard with that kind of box, especially everything John McClane goes through. So,
I think that would be great. All right, D-Box, from us to you. I hope you hear it. In the meantime, you can check out all of these really excellent movies at Oak Center Cinema this summer. Thank you so much, Bob, for catching us up. And let's see here. If you don't get the newsletter, I feel like there's a newsletter that you can sign up for at oakcenter.net that you'll get all of the dates, the listings. Where else can they find out more?
You can find out on our social pages. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. You can find out there. We're going to be posting about this all summer. And that's probably, one of the best things to do, to share. We'll create events for them.
Right.
So it'll just be easier to find that out, and, just stop in, visit.
Stop in and visit.
Because we're going to start running these trailers pretty soon that are going to start hyping these movies. So you could be sitting in on Mandalorian and Grogu and see a trailer for Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Oh, don't get me started. I cannot wait for Mandalorian and Grogu. Though I just love them so much. They're so cute. But yeah. Okay, so on socials at Oak Center Cinema on Instagram and Facebook, you'll get all the lowdown on what's hot. And also, if you go to the website, there's a pop-up that offers you to join the newsletter. It only goes out once a month. They promise not to spam you, and you get all the date. Anything, if you didn't know what was coming up, it'll really help you plan your date nights. So we'll see you here at Oak Center Cinema, and Bob, we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.